This is the dawn of a new era in British karting. Over 550 drivers in 12 classes competing for victory over 18 race weekends. This is the Motorsport UK British Kart Championships.
Chris Whilton takes the flag. Going to be an off-read
TKM's next champion.
To win again in TKM Extreme.
For rounds 11 and 12 of the 2019 British Kart Championships, we headed to Whilton Mill and we spoke to junior TKM driver Ben Watson on how his championship has gone this year.
Team's looking strong, coming to around 3rd and 5th on drop rounds, so hoping to at least get that, if not get any higher. It has been a close season, I think for the most part. I think the likes of Zach Oates has been a bit of a class of his own really, and you can see that in the standings. So I think most of the field has been very close, and then there's just him really who's, as I say, been a class of his own. Yeah, I hope we'll take obviously a positive result out of the end of this season. I've got to go up to seniors for next year, so it'll be a bit of a reset, a restart for me next season, so we'll have to see what happens.
Here we are then for these junior TKM drivers. Their journey across 5 different circuits and 5 different counties comes to a close in the 12th round, the 12th race of this 2019 season for the junior TKM. And surely you have to say it's Harry Yardley Rose's to lose. They will have a rolling start, these junior TKM youngsters, but the championship means no less. It's a pretty sluggish getaway on the entire right-hand side of the grid, but they do head into oblivion, and now the first corner crook as they head up towards the top bend for the first time Christmas corner. Lots of karts out at the first corner, well, second corner technically, crook after oblivion claims a few more victims here. This very quick first couple corners, but leading early doors, it was Oliver Richardson who had a much better getaway off the front row than Dominic Kilmister as they head down, the yellow flags waving. It wouldn't be surprised to see perhaps the entire field is slowed. Onto the back straight for the first time, though, the majority of these drivers. Number 19 of Harry Yardley Rose in second position. And if things stay as they are, Yardley Rose will be, unless I'm very much mistaken, the championship winner of the 2019 season. Across the line we go. It is Harry Yardley Rose in the championship title. It is Zach Oates says here should still be the champion. 629. They're separated by 1 point at the moment. He just needs to pick himself up the order, Zach Oates, in the E-plate, who's 22nd at the moment. Well, big collision at the first corner of the first lap for the junior TKM in these karts, which they're currently competing in over the course of the season. In trusty steeds over the course of the season so far. Just need to hold out for a remaining 13.5 minutes to complete the 2019 season of the British Kart Championships. Into the boot now, and the pit bend, which is a very quick corner which takes them up to the timing line. The O-plate of Oliver Richardson leading the way on that last lap. Louis Harvey was quickest though. He's another championship competitor, can't be discounted. But Zach Oates, in picking himself up the order, he's now in 21st, so currently 2 points clear at the top of the championship. So Zach Oates, I'm assuming it may have something to do with the drop rounds, but in terms of the championship, Oates is still okay. Harry Yardley Rose, though, if he gets into the lead of the race, that could well scupper a few of Zach Oates' plans, but he has got the pace at the moment, just needs to climb up the order a few more places. In 21st now, and Oates just needs to be careful not to make a mistake, or Harry Yardley Rose will be the victor of the championship. There's a couple of cards off there, and it's the E-plate, and it is Zach Oates who's off at the top of the circuit, coming up towards Ashby. I think it's at Inkermans. He's gone off there, involved with another driver, but drama here for the junior TKM in the 12th round of the 2019 British Kart Champs, and it looks like it may well be Harry Yardley Rose to lose now, because I think that may have scuppered the chances of Zach Oates. Let's have a look at the live championship table. Zach Oates, it still says, is on top here. I'm guessing that has something to do with the drop rounds, but Zach Oates very much been in the wars over the past couple of rounds. Rounds 11 and 12 both taking place here at Whilton Mill, of course. But into the pit bend, And Oliver Richardson, the race leader, he's not involved in the championship, but the race leader, or the championship leader I should say, Zach Oates, he's now in 30th position with Harry Yardley-Rose in second in the championship, in second place on the track, but they're separated by 1 point. Harry Yardley-Rose desperately needs this win because it's unlikely that Oates is going to be able to get to the end, but well, he's going to be able to pick up any more positions, I should say, heading around the middle section of the circuit. And he's got a black and orange flag. He's going to have to come into the pits. That is for the E-plate, and that will be Zach Oates, whose day goes from bad to worse, and his junior TKM championship could well be over. He's going to take to the pit lane, and if he's aware of the black and orange flag, I don't think he is as of yet, but he's been waved those blue flags, so he has to get out of the way anyway. The championship coming to a 4 here. You just couldn't make it up. In no other sport would you see a championship this tight as motorsport is providing us here. The British Car Championship's coming to a close, and we have less than 45 minutes before we know the results of all of the Senior TKM, Junior TKM and the Honda Cadet races. But for now, the 12th round, it is the Junior TKM out on the track, and their championship couldn't be much more dramatic at the moment. Harry Yardley-Rose in second place, but the E-plate of Zach Oates will have to take to the pits, and currently he's in the lead of the championship by just 1 point ahead of Harry Yardley-Rose, with Louis Harvey in third. Out to the pit bend then come the leading trio. Louis Harvey potentially sniffs a second position here. He's very comfortably far away from Harry Yardley-Rose though, for Yardley-Rose to perhaps not be too worried about his championship credentials for second position, but certainly will be more concerned about the fact that if he gets ahead of Oliver Richardson, not that he knows this at the moment unless he's done the maths very well beforehand, but should he finish ahead of Oliver Richardson, he'll take the championship. But currently he's behind by 1 solitary point after 11 rounds, and currently in round 12 they are on 629 points and 628 points respectively. Zach Oates, who's out of the race, and Harry Yardley-Rose, who's second on track. He just needs to create this one opportunity. Oliver Richardson, he doesn't know it yet, but he realistically has the power to decide this championship. As the drivers at the top once again head up to Christmas corner, but Louis Harvey's going up the inside. He's up to second position, and now he really does have his work cut out, Harry Yardley-Rose, in order to try and wrap up this championship, which is in the palm of his hands. But Louis Harvey, up to second place, is scuppering those plans for Yardley-Rose. With just over 9 minutes left to race, it looks as though the O-plate of Oliver Richardson is racing very well at the top, but it does seem as though Zach Oates is just about going to be able to get away with this in terms of the championship, with Harry Yardley-Rose dropping down the order. Across the line they go. Let's see how that affects the championship. It does mean that Yardley-Rose is now 3 points behind Zach Oates, and Oates isn't going to be dropping any more points than this, so it really does come down, but goes up the inside now. It's Ben Watson on Harry Yardley-Rose. Yardley-Rose dropping down the order once again to 4, and Zach Oates is finally getting a little bit of the luck which he otherwise wasn't receiving. Certainly hasn't over the last couple of rounds, rounds 11 and 12. Zach Oates has been firmly out of luck, but this time it does seem as though it is falling into his grasp, with Harry Yardley-Rose dropping down the order. Louis Harvey could have his eyes on second place in the championship if Yardley-Rose is to drop out of proceedings. But Harvey, I think, focusing perhaps on the win for this race, where he will, of course, receive the trophy for the victory here at Whilton Mill in Northamptonshire. Climbing up the roads towards Christmas corner. Once again, they rise to the top of the hill, the leading 6. There are 6 cars, all realistically in with a shout of potentially taking the win here. But the one who needs it most is currently in 4th, the number 19. He really needs this victory, and if he gets it, the championship is his, but goes up the inside. Ben Watson there on Louis Harvey. That is at Ozier's there. He's managed to make that overtake, so that is another change in proceedings. Not that affects the championship too much, but it does change the complex of this race. Oliver Richardson in the lead still. He's led from the off. Can't say he doesn't deserve this lead, as we're now about halfway through this final Last race for the junior TKM of this season, of course, and it is bubbling down to a fascinating conclusion. Harry Yardley-Rose currently is 4 points adrift of Zach Oates, who in the number 31 doesn't even need to finish this race to get the championship as things stand. He will be cursing his bad luck as a result of his DNF anyway, though. As Harry Yardley-Rose in fourth position, he's trying to find a way back past and get into second place where he was before, in a far more promising position for the championship that time. The O-plate of Oliver Richardson in the lead. He doesn't look like he's showing any signs of stopping. He's got just half a second back to the number 9 of Ben Watson, though, who in second place is under increasing pressure from Louis Harvey. A fantastic battle beginning to form at the front, and indeed all around the track, really. Many battles going on of the 25 cars that are still remaining in this race. In fact, I think maybe up to 28 cars, but we started with 31, so a fair few have dropped off. Been an action-packed round 12. Oliver Richardson leading the way, though, as they head into the pit bend. Onto the pit straight once again. And the number 9 of Ben Watson remains in second place. Harry Yardley-Rose up to third. He's got past Louis Harvey. Harvey got back past him a couple of laps prior to this. Harry Yardley-Rose reclaiming that position. He's up to third, and now has to just pick off 2 more cars to claim the championship. Always fascinating when championships do come down to the final round, such as this one. Remembering the first World Championship that Lewis Hamilton was able to win on the last corner of the last lap. That really was about as close as it gets, but it could well be just as close an affair here in the British Car Championship, with Harry Yardley-Rose in third place, behind just Ben Watson and Oliver Richardson, who currently are the 2 drivers which are denying him a championship win in the junior TKM. Into Crook they go at the base of the hill here at Whilton Mill Raceway. Maybe a challenge on Oliver Richardson from Ben Watson very soon in second position. Harry Yardley-Rose will be praying those 2 drivers take each other out, or would be if he was aware of the championship connotations. Whether he is, that remains to be seen. E-plate is back on track, by the way, Zach Oates. He's up to 30th position. Still fairly far down the order. I can't imagine he's going to be picking up too many points from this stage. He's a good few laps behind. Good to see him back on the track regardless after that black and orange flag. 0.18 of a second separates the top 2. How close a battle will that turn out to be, as Harry Yardley-Rose closing in on the pair of them as well. Just under 4 minutes left to go. The gap stands at just 0.4 of a second between the race leader and third place, as they go towards Inkermans and down towards the sharpest turn on the track, or at least one of them. Ashby there, a very sharp right-hander. Down towards in the latter section of Sector 2. Oliver Richardson in the O-plate. And the front, Ben Watson in second, Harry Yardley-Rose, the championship contender, in third place. Dominic Kilmister and Louis Harvey swap around in fourth and fifth then. Louis Harvey doing what he has done for a lot of the weekend, actually. Has a good start to the race and a decent middle section, and then just starts to drop off towards the end. I don't know whether his tyres are not quite as resistant, but Louis Harvey looking like he's struggling again. After that overtake on Harry Yardley-Rose, you suspected he may be a contender for the race win here, but it seems like that's not the case. It's dropping off slightly. But the top 3, such a close battle with such huge connotations as well. The number 19 of Harry Yardley-Rose is just 2.5 minutes away from realising that if things stay as they are, he will just be beaten to the championship win by Zach Oates by 3 points. 3 points after 12 rounds. That really is so close. And with the time that remains, he really is going to have to get a move on, though. Even if he gets up to second place, that wouldn't be enough. Needs that race win. Oliver Richardson is certainly holding firm, and Ben Watson in second as well. Fastest lap time, I can have a look. I'm not sure who it belongs to at the moment. Having a few technical errors here, but I will try and get that information as soon as possible. It does look as though Harry Yardley-Rose is certainly, or was certainly, quicker than the top two. Now looking like he may be dropping off ever so slightly on the leading duo. Such a fascinating affair, which Zach Oates isn't a part of. If he was anywhere near, of course, the championship would pretty much be a foregone conclusion at this point. Best lap does belong to is 46.38 by Dominic Kilminster. He's the quickest in the top 10, but there may be quicker lap times a little bit further down the order. At quick glance, it looks as though Kilminster is quickest, and maybe trying to latch himself onto this three-way battle we're currently seeing for the lead as we approach the final 60 seconds of racing for the season with the junior TKM onto the back straight now. The story has been very much the same with the top three for a number of laps now. Oliver Richardson with Ben Watson, Harry Yardley-Rose as the next two. Dominic Kilminster in fourth and fifth place. Louis Harvey is the Clarkson Motorsport of Ben Watson with several Clarkson Motorsport teammates as well. They are in fifth and sixth. Fifth and seventh now. They've been knocked down the order as Ben Higgins overtaken by Harvey Cole. But it would be a decent result this for Clarkson Motorsport should Ben Watson be able to hold on to second place. Several highly placed drivers in there. Oliver Richardson, after 18 laps, continues to lead the way though, and so impressively given the conditions, given the pressure that no doubt Harry Yardley-Rose in the TWM kart will have been applying, with Dominic Kilminster, his teammate, by the way, in fourth place. But the leading few karts are going to shortly be seen at the very front of proceedings, and across the line they go with 6 seconds to spare, meaning that the next lap will be the final one of racing this year for the junior TKM. Oliver Richardson heading up the hill for the penultimate time with Ben Watson and Harry Yardley-Rose behind him, and I just think he's ran out of time now as Harry Yardley-Rose in the live championship table tells me that providing there's no penalties dished out, Zach Oates will be the 2019 champion. Here they come then towards sector 3, which begins as they go across this slight white line painted on the circuit just before the boots, this tricky double apexed penultimate corner as they head into pit bend once again. So many battles going on around the circuit still. In the middle of the pack there's some really fascinating battles going on, but impossible not to focus on the championship in such tight conditions. As up the hill they go then for the final time, the leading three. Oliver Richardson surely looks set to take the victory here. Harry Yardley-Rose will have to pick off a couple of drivers in what are only a couple of available overtaking spots, but I don't think he's close enough to even attempt that. He is going to have to settle for second in the championship behind Zach Oates, who, despite the not getting the rub of the green over the course of the day, it seems that he's done enough previously in the championship for Zach Oates to take the 2019 Junior TKM title home. Coming out of the final corner, then out of the pit bend, Oliver Richardson in the O-plate is victorious. He takes the checkered flag ahead of Ben Watson. They separate by less than quarter of a second over the line, with Harry Yardley-Rose in third. Dominic Kilminster in fourth. Fifth goes to Louis Harvey, with Harvey Cole in sixth. Seventh, Jack Saunders and Ben Higgins in eighth. Ninth goes to the Scot in the Jade Racing team, Oliver Stewart. Dominic Roberts 10th, who gained 12 positions, by the way, Dominic Roberts. So had a pretty decent race there by all things considered. Louis Mackey in 11th. 12th goes to Jensen Davis, who climbed 5. 13th, Josh Raystrick, with Morgan Kidd, Charlie Webb, Ian Bennett, Ben Cox, Finley Saunders in 18th, 19th Jack Nicholson and Will Howells in 20th position, who started 28th, so he had a very productive race as well. But Zach Oates, providing things stay as they are, is nonetheless the champion, despite finishing in 28th. Drop rounds will have helped him elsewhere, but what a season it's been for the junior TKM. Comes to a close here in Northamptonshire, and as they head off towards the scrutineers to check that their karts are not illegalised in any way, Oliver Richardson takes the victory in round 12, Ben Watson second, Harry Yardley-Rose second in the championship, third on the track, agonisingly close to the title. the Junior TKM second final, round 12, and their last round of the championship saw Oliver Richardson take the win ahead of Harry Yardley Rose, Dominic Kilmister in third. We had a chat to them to see how they thought the race went.
Yeah, I was really happy. Lost a few places at the start, but made them back up throughout the race. Managed to hang on to like the top pack and stay there.
Overall, I'm pretty happy with that. We were thinking we were going to have a chance of coming away with a win here, but it wasn't to be, so yeah.
It was a great race, and obviously hopefully we can carry it on to next season. Managed to sort of had a good start, and then managed to stay led from the start, and then hopefully we can carry on to next season.